I've spoken on previous videos about my standards check. So what happened was it's out of 51 and I scored 27, which is a fail. I need 4 more marks to get a pass. Now, the situation was that had we had we did roundabouts, and then what happened was the junctions and roundabouts I kept quiet. My customer, she afterwards she said that's what she wanted me to do, because the problem is at roundabouts, if you start talking, you're going to induce panic. I think you're going to induce panic if you say, well, you can go now or whatever. So I kept quiet to give her room to sort of make a decision when to go. And the examiner, Steve Beach, at the back, he said that I should have got involved. Now I'm convinced that I did the right thing. I went round with the young lady that was learning, and she said we went to the same route straight after, and she said I should have kept quiet because she would have got more out of it. And then on a pedestrian crossing, the we took a while to get going, and a car overtook on the pedestrian crossing, which they shouldn't have done. But I was under the impression that she was trying her hardest to get going, and that was the case. So the best thing for me to do at that time is to keep really quiet and let her get the bite, let her pull the car forward. So she said that was what she wanted me to do, and she didn't want me to do what I was supposed to do, which was to sort of talk about different things and why we need to hurry up, because that, to me, that induces panic. So I got did a training identify the pupils' learning goals and needs. I only got a 1 for that, demonstrating a few elements, which is annoying because I did try. I felt I did that. Was the agreed lesson structure appropriate for the pupil's experience and ability? I got a 2 for that, so it's demonstrated in most elements. Whether practice area is suitable, I got a 2, demonstrated in most elements. Was the lesson plan adapted when appropriate to help the pupil work towards their learning goals? I only got 1 for that, to demonstrate in a few elements. So I felt we got the pedestrian crossings, that was fine. And he really feels that I should have maybe concentrated more on. He says I should be more proactive rather than reactive, but I feel that I should have been reactive because I was giving her the space to go for it, the space to know when to go. The need to be less focused on a particular subject in isolation after the change is necessary. So I agree with that. If it's not working a particular way, then we need to back off and change it. So that's what. But I felt the best way she could learn is by going up to junctions and roundabouts and just letting her do it. Just be really quiet and let her decide, because she was getting better all the time, and she understood that she needed to go. She needed to get a speed up on going. So I knew she understood that. I could tell, and she told me afterwards that she did understand that. So I felt that if we were at junctions and roundabouts, the best thing for me is to be quiet, unless they're really really struggling. But she wasn't. It wasn't bad. So on the risk management side, did the trainer ensure that the pupil fully understood how responsibility for the risk would be shared? So he put demonstrated in most elements, a 2. I thought I made that clear. Obviously there's a dual controls. I can control the car. It's a job share. The main thing is that you'll get responsibility as you go along. I thought I did that okay, but he gave me just a 2 for that. Where directions and instructions given to the pupil clear and given in good time, I only got a 1. So maybe I should have explained the directions a bit better. I'm struggling with that. Was the trainer aware of the surroundings and the pupil's actions? He only gave me a 1 for that. I thought I was giving her instructions. I felt that I was aware of the surroundings and pupil's actions. Was any verbal or physical intervention by the trainer timely and appropriate? I got a 2 for that, demonstrated in most elements. Was sufficient feedback given to help the pupil understand any potential safety critical incidents? So I only got 1 for that. So maybe I should have pulled over and said there was, we need to get going, or just check her understanding of why we need to get going at junctions and why we need to get going at roundabouts. So maybe I could have done that. So maybe should have done that at the end. We did pull out in front of a car on a roundabout, but it was quite a distance away, so it wasn't too dangerous. But I did pull her over, and he said that that was the right thing to do. So was the teaching style suited to the pupil's learning style and current ability? He gave me a 2 for that. I thought that was the teaching style she tends to learn the best with. Was the pupil encouraged to analyse problems and take responsibility for their learning? I only got 1 for that, so maybe I should have talked a bit more about the actual, even though I knew she understood, and afterwards she did understand, that we need to get off at roundabouts and junctions earlier. But I knew she knew that, I knew she was trying her best, so that's why I kept quiet. So that's why I'm a little bit frustrated with this. I mean, if I'm no good, I want to get better. It's not a problem. I'll take the extra training to do it. But when you're not sure whether something's really going to help the student, then you feel a bit, should I try and be like this or just carry on being like I normally am? Was the pupil encouraged? Yeah, were opportunities and examples used to clarify learning outcomes? So I only got 1 for that. So maybe I should have talked a little bit about why it's important to get going at roundabouts. That's possible. Was the technical information given comprehensive, appropriate and accurate? I got a 2. I thought the information I gave was fine on the pedestrian crossings. Was the pupil given appropriate and timely feedback during the session? We pulled over a few times after 10 minutes and after 40 minutes. I was planning to do it at 30 minutes, and we went over things. I thought we did that fine. Where the pupils queries followed up and answered, he gave me a 2 for that. I thought I didn't see anything wrong with that at all. I thought I'd done that okay. Did the trainer maintain an appropriate non-discriminatory manner throughout the session? So I didn't cross my hand over to the left to the driver's side where she was sitting, so I thought that was okay. At the end of the session, was a pupil encouraged to reflect on their own report? At the end of the session, was the pupil encouraged to reflect on their own performance? So I got a 2 for that. So maybe I should have encouraged her to reflect a bit more. My trainer, Neil, he's going to look at this. He said that so the focus of the session will be control of the lesson, core competences and risk management. So I'm going to try and see how much control I've got of the lesson. I felt, because I know her, I felt it was okay to let her go and just get on with it. And then every time she's doing it, she's getting better. And she said to me that's the way she wanted to do it afterwards. She said that's the way that she wanted me to teach her. And she said to me that that was a really good lesson, even though the DVSA have put it in that I've failed. So I'm a little bit frustrated because I desperately want to be better. I'm always striving to be a better driving instructor, and if I can be convinced that what I'm doing isn't the best, then of course I'll jump in and put the effort and money and time to being a better instructor. But if I'm not convinced of that, it makes it really hard. So I felt I was teaching how she wanted to learn, and I'm very frustrated at the moment. So that's how I feel. Obviously they're going to book another one in 8 to 10 weeks, and then we'll see how that goes.